Hey, friends, this is Carrie, and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today we have 4 stories out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first post is by Lama Bushasha. Entitled mother comes into homeless shelter and gets angry at us for feeding freeloaders. I work at a Salvation Army as a food services assistant. That basically means I work the food counter and ready the meals for those who need them. One day, this lady walks in. There's no way she was homeless, as she was wearing Louis Vuitton sunglasses and name brand shoes. Me, hello? If you want to volunteer, do it on the website. If you you need to close the socialist hub down. This was maybe the funniest thing anybody had ever said to me, and I tried my hardest not to chuckle. Me, excuse me? Why can these people get food? If they can get food, I deserve it too. Me, ma'am, this is for people who can't afford food. Well, I deserve food. My son deserves food more than any of these freeloaders. Right, son? She says, turns around, her son's not there. Hold on. She walks out, and about 15 seconds later, her son walks in with her. This kid, probably 7 or 8, is playing on an iPhone 10. It's definitely his. Me, ma'am, you do not need food. Your son is playing on an iPhone 10. Well, I help society. Why do these lazy freeloaders get free stuff? A voice from behind me says, freeloaders? I turned around. I recognized this guy. He had been in and out getting care packages, meals for weeks. Very nice guy. B, I've done more for society than you. I've worked for Habitats for Humanity, building houses for people who need them. I volunteered after natural disasters, but when my house burned down, I lost everything and nobody helped me. Now I'm here. Both me and the EM were awestruck. She just backed out the door. Me, was all that true? Hero, nah, B, I'm a writer. I haven't laughed so hard in months. Even though the hero in the story lied to the EM and shut her up, I still think that charity organizations like the Salvation Army do good work in helping out the community after natural disasters, or feeding the homeless, or people who are down on their luck and need a helping hand. Anyway, on to our next story. Our next story is by Rye the Red Zombie. That's my iPad now because you were playing a crude game on it. Cast. Me. Take a guess. EM, entitled Maniac. EPK, entitled Parents Kid. F, friend. Backstory. So I have an iPad mini. I think it's 2 or 3, which was given to me when I was in 3rd grade by one of my mom's friends. And since it was with me from an early age, I literally got attached to it. Even now, at close to high school age, I put it to sleep, and along with my laptop and my math textbook. Shut up, okay? Story. My friend and I and my friend's brother were going to the cinema to see episode 9. We turned out to be an hour early, so we sat at the food court in the mall where the cinema was located. Friend and his brother were away buying food. In comes the entitled B and her offspring. EPK. Hey, what game is that? Me. Plants vs. Zombies 2? Why? EPK. Isn't it violent? Me. No. EPK. Oh. EPK goes to EM, and I go back to playing when EM. Hand over your device now. Me. What? Why? EM. Well, you definitely don't know how to handle it, so. Me. What do you mean, I don't know how? EM. Don't interrupt me. Me. Sorry, please go on. EM. Well, my son tells me that you have been playing games that are not fit for your age group. EPK. Wait, what? No, EM. EPK's name. What did I tell you about talking back to grown-ups? Me. What do you mean? It's not vulgar or anything. EM. Yes, it is. That game content is of dead people getting beaten up by violent plants. Me. Yes, but hand it over. Me. Hugging it like my firstborn. Also, shut up. No, it's my property. EM. I am an adult and me, can tell you what to do? Yeah, whatever you. EM tries to grab my iPad. She gets a hold of it, but my case has a kind of sling that I can put around the back of my wrist, which prevents her from stealing it. She tries to open my iPad, but it has a passcode, of course. She tries to get me to unlock it, but of course I refused. I yanked my iPad away from her. She then went into full Karen mode. EM. Give me your device now. Me. Get away from me. I had other experiences with entitled people, and rule number 1 is to remain calm, which would usually anger the entitled B more. EM. Give it to me or I will call security. Ian slapped my hand and swiped away the device, which gave me a small bruise. She then spat on me. Right then, security came. Friend went and got security. He was watching apparently, and with the help from me and EPK, she was apprehended and I got my iPad back. During that time, she got angry with EPK for betraying her like that, and then scolded him in public, which resulted in him bawling, which was saying something because he was older than I was. And she was removed from the mall. And from what I saw and heard after the movie, EM was a single parent and EPK is now with his father. I sure hope the guy isn't like EM, which I think is a reality because EPK looked very happy. Not so much with her mother. EM, you, me, slightly surprised to see her again. Hi? EM, I will sue you for what you have done. Now my child is with his B-ass father. Me, good. EM explodes. EM, I demand to be repaid. Me, I'm not giving you anything, least my iPad. EM then shouted more racial slurs. The police did not get involved. Instead, friend's brother dissed her really bad. I won't say it because of dignity reasons. We found her on the same bus as ours, but she was removed because she was creating a scene. I guess in EM's world, when you see a random stranger, especially a kid, playing a game on a device, especially if it's a game you don't like, you are fully entitled to rob them and to abuse them. Well, I'm actually surprised she wasn't arrested for attempted theft and assault, because that was assault. I mean, slapping him and spitting on them, that's definitely assault. Anyway, if you're enjoying my content so far, please put some heart emojis in the comments section down below. Our next story is posted by Munbean19. My HOA complaint inadvertently broke up an EM's marriage. Do dog moms count? This happened a few years ago, but I still think about it. After being blessed with great neighbors over the years, I started taking it for granted. The Luna, her 4 dogs, all the same breed, and family, 2 teens and a husband, move in next door. It started off well enough. Luna was friendly and the kids and her husband seemed nice. But she soon decided that the best place for her dogs to go to the restroom was my backyard. I didn't agree. And after suffering in silence for a few weeks, I'm not very confrontational, I finally told her that my backyard wasn't her personal dog park. When they got home from work, they would let their dogs loose and go running in my backyard to play and go potty. One day, I happened to catch them and came out onto my patio to tell them to cut it out. The dogs turned around and started running towards me while barking aggressively. Fortunately, her husband called them off before the little ankle biters got to me. And it wasn't just the dogs that liked to hang around in my backyard. Luna liked to walk around my backyard while talking on her phone. One of the things I like about my house is the privacy. It backs to the woods, so I don't have a lot of curtains on my back windows and doors. But since Luna liked walking around my yard, I was forced to curtail my habit of cleaning while scantily clad. And it was creepy. Once after it had snowed, I realized that someone had walked up to my back patio and had been peeping in my French doors. Not long after, someone left a gift of crap on my front welcome mat. Geez, I wonder who did that. But then Luna seemed to want to repair our rocky relationship and asked me what time I got off work. We could do cocktails and hang out. I thought, whatever, biatch. So I told her, but no get-together ever materialized. I realized later that she just wanted to know what time I got home from work. What she didn't know was that I sometimes worked from home. On one of those days, I caught her once again letting her dogs loose in my yard. So I took a photo and sent it to the HOA. I think she was also sneaking her dogs into my other neighbors' fenced backyards too. The ramifications were swift. That complaint was the straw that broke the camel's back. The marriage was already on shaky grounds and the husband was tired of her and her dog hoarding. I only saw the 4 dogs at a time, but there were more. I didn't notice because they all looked alike. The next thing I knew, she and the dogs had moved back to South America and the kids went to live with relatives/college. And the husband was acting like he won the lottery. He always seemed somewhat grumpy before, but after she left, he was smiling and friendly. Then he bought a Harley, got a girlfriend, and proceeded to rid the house of copious amounts of urine-stained carpets. He was eventually evicted from the house. Yes, they were renters, because the owners were sick of the complaints and fines and decided to move back in. Luna apparently had a gift for pissing off neighbors on my block. The weird thing is that there were a couple of vacant lots and a dog park less than a block away, but apparently her neighbor's yard was the best place for her dogs. Too long didn't read. Crazy dog mom moves in next door, hoards dogs, pisses off neighbors, her shenanigans, and my HOA complaint break up her marriage and cause her to leave the country. Neighborhood lives happily ever after. On to our final story. Our final story is posted by Marked for Pie. Apparently, I'm a free babysitting service. I've been seeing an increase in Christian EPs, so I thought I'd add in this one. I grew up as the pastor's kid, and the amount of entitlement I've seen is astounding. This story is one that came to mind. People tend to see the pastor's kid as an extension of the church and not as real people, so we constantly have people taking advantage of us, and my parents would make us go along with it. There was a lady who attended our church that had 3 small children, aged 3 to 6. I was about 15 years old. The lady would often drop off her kids for free babysitting at our house. My parents would, of course, say it was fine, and I would be stuck watching them. One day, she decided that she needed free babysitting and dropped them off without any extra clothes or anything. The first day, the youngest kid was sitting in my lap and threw up all over herself. I gave her a bath and found a long shirt for her to wear while I washed her clothes. That night, the EP never showed up to pick up her kids, so I put them to bed in my bed and I slept on the floor. The little girl peed my bed, and the older sister informed me that she wasn't potty trained, and the EP said that I would buy pull-ups for her. I informed my mother, who went out and got some. Then all 3 kids started throwing up and had fevers. We tried calling the entitled parent, but she didn't answer. The next day, we managed to get a hold of the entitled parent, who told me that she was not able to pick up her kids until the next day. So I had all 3 sick kids for 2 days. She finally showed up the next afternoon, and I told her the kids were sick. EP: "Oh, I know. That was why I needed a babysitter. Their grandmother said she wouldn't watch them if they were sick, and I needed a break." The next day, I was homesick, and the EP showed up at my house, and my parents weren't home. She tried dropping off the kids, and I refused, and I told her I was homesick from school. She replied that I should be able to watch her kids because I was home. I refused. She called my mother and tried convincing her that she needed me to watch her kids because she had a hair appointment. My mother told her no because I was sick and would get them sick. She responded, seeing as they are already sick and she didn't have daycare, so I should just stay home and watch them for a couple of days until we're all better. I shut the door in her face. My mother never made me babysit for her again. The way this entitled mother shucks her kids off onto other people, especially the OP and her mother, kind of reminds me of this woman I used to know, who my friend and I would sometimes babysit her youngest child. And, we liked her youngest child, who was a baby at the time. We were like, ooh, that sort of thing. But the mother was really irresponsible, and she would say, oh, we're only going to be gone a couple of hours. And so if you were going to a movie, if you were going to do something else, or if you had another appointment, you would kind of expect her to be back by X time. And she would never be back by X time. It would always be 5, 6, 7, 8 hours later that she would be back. And she wouldn't apologize. If you tried calling her, you would get it go straight to voicemail. And she never explained herself. She'd pick up her kid and leave. Oh, and by the way, she didn't pay us either. And so after a while, she would call and say, hey, can you watch my baby? And we'd end up saying no, because we'd basically have to clear our schedules for the rest of the afternoon or the rest of the evening, just because she was so irresponsible. Though that lady never left us with her sick child to take care of or anything like that. I agree with the OP in this instance by not letting that woman take further advantage of her by her leaving her kids with the OP. And I'm glad that the OP finally stood up for herself and that her mother finally said no to this woman, because this woman would just keep taking advantage of them. And I'm surprised she didn't try and pull the it's your Christian duty to watch my kids type malarkey, because that's typically what they do. And then, abandoning her kids for 2 days or something. Anyway, that's all the stories I have for today. Please stop on by Reddit to show the OP some love with an upvote. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.